Hello YouTube, this is Chris from External Services. Sorry it's been a while since I've made a video. Like I keep telling you, I got, medical stuff, personal stuff, legal stuff, plus all the research that I do on YouTube and different things, different rabbit holes I go down and then try to show love and support to some of you guys. And uh, then all the videos that I've got so many videos, it's not even funny. Like I keep saying that I got to get made. These are the ones that I've already got ready to be made. And then I've got other videos that I got to get made, get put together to put up for you guys to make videos on. So I just got a lot of stuff. But today's video is going to be more proof that NASA's liars and that everything they do is CGI, cartoons, Hollywood stunts, and props and stuff of that nature. And most people just gobble it up. Uh, I know I did for most of my life because that's what I was brainwashed to believe. Um, it makes no sense whatsoever that, and I'll show you in a minute, that one, we should even have a rover or a helicopter, I can't even say it without trying to laugh, on Mars, then communicating with them and everything else. I'll show you all that in a minute. But one of the questions that I get is, uh, well, one, I've been told over the years that I'm like the real life Fox Mulder from the X Files, but um, what is it like living, you know, doing all the research that I do and believing what I believe and going all these down all these rabbit holes that I go down? This movie pretty much, this and the X Files. If you haven't seen this movie, Conspiracy Theory, Mel Gibson from the 90s, is essentially my life in a nutshell. Uh, I can't watch movies anymore, TV shows, video games, um, grocery shopping, nothing without my conspiracy brain kicking in. And just when I think, okay, I'm going to be able to relax, take some time and just chill and like what they consider normal people, all of a sudden my conspiracy brain kicks in and I start dissecting everything. And I can't help it. Once you go down this rabbit hole, these rabbit holes, and you start seeing the truth and waking up, you cannot unsee it. And then it just, all of a sudden, it just becomes habit. You can't control it. Uh, of seeing all the signs and symbols and hearing them telling the truth within the lies, and you just can't help it. So, before we get into the NASA stuff, I'm gonna show you three clips of this movie. One like this right here is it it's so me. Watch this, guys. I got it muted because of the music, and I don't want to get copyright by it. But also, I want to tell you thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for everybody that views my stuff and is subscribed to me, and it continues, comes back and viewing my stuff and uh, making sure you're still subscribed to me because YouTube unsubscribes people from me all the time. And I keep having people tell me, oh, it's because of dead emails. It's because fake channels. It's because of this. It's because of that. Uh, no, some of that maybe I'll give you that, but most of it, no. You can't tell me that every single time I upload a video that they're removing dead accounts or dead emails accounts or Google accounts or fraudulent channels, that aren't real people, they're bots. Every single time I upload videos, that is just not does not make any sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and push play on this, and because I've got it muted, so I'm just gonna I'll talk over it. But yeah, this is so mean. Let me blow this up so you got for you guys. Okay, so
Well, Jerry,
I feel that deep, boy. That's exactly what I say on my channel all the time. Now this one, it's a little longer, so bear with me. But he's really big on NASA and NASA being a big player in the game, lies and deception and taking out people and things like that. And I found some CIA documents um, that it's not going to be in this video, but that's what all that stuff is up top that you saw. Um, this here, that's what all this is. And that's just a handful of the ones that I've seen. So watch this, guys. CIA, which I'll prove in other documents, I'll prove in documents in another video, that the CIA pretty much started NASA for their stuff. Really, um, this is what I believe this stuff wholeheartedly. I believe this is them telling the truth within the lies. And like I said before, this is my Facebook, my Twitter, now X. These are all links that I've sent to myself of videos that I've still got to get put together. Some of the topics are ones I've already touched on, and it backs up, gives more proof of what I'm saying. Other stuff isn't. I've already made a video about that one. Um, this is the weapons in space that I talk about. I'm going to talk about in this here. A wood satellite. Are you serious? Come on, people. Weather balloons. NASA launches stadium-sized craft over Antarctica and new mission to explore cosmos. That's a weather balloon. I've touched about that in other videos. See the satellite right there? So let's get on with the meat and potatoes of this video. Enough playing around. Uh, so hopefully, that was entertaining enough because I get people all the time telling me I need to entertain people in my videos. So, but I'm not going to sugarcoat the truth to entertain. If I can entertain, I'll entertain, but I'm not going to sugarcoat the truth to entertain people. That's the problem with churches and so-called truth seekers and everything else. They want to entertain. They want the, the data boys, that subscriptions, the views, the money, uh, and all that. And so do I, but I'm not going to sell my soul to get it. So there's this makes no relevant sense to me. Okay, just a little bit of research. Oh, before we get up onto this, this is what I'm talking about. This here. Um, like this here. I just seen this where it says Obama, American Dream is to be Donald Trump, Barack Obama, 1991. And so normally my conspiracy brain and truth seeking brain would start digging into this. Did he actually say this? And so a lot of times I'll research that, and then I'll find a bunch of different stuff, and then I'll hear something or see something that's either more proof backing up what I've been saying, or it's something I haven't heard before. So I'll start looking into that. Next thing you know, I spent 5 hours going down rabbit holes. So anyway, let's go over here. Um, this is NASA.gov, and it says Mars close approach. Mars in our night sky, the minimum distance from Earth to Mars is 33.9 million miles. Okay, it gets even worse though. If you click on that article, it says this is the point in Mars. That is the point in Mars orbit when it comes close to Earth. In 2022, it was about 50.6 million miles from Earth's planet. Mars remains visible in weeks following close approach, but becomes fainter as Mars and Earth travel further away from each other. In other orbits around the Sun, this time of better Mars viewing opportunities can coincide with opposition when Mars is directly on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun. This lineup happens about every 2 years. It's usually when Mars is at the brightest. So go outside and take a look. So you're telling me, well, first of all these billions of stars that we're supposed to be seeing, I've touched about this in other videos. Those are supposed to be, once we see those lights, NASA says from the moon or the stars, those are already dead stars. So you're telling me that, first of all, we don't. Why don't we see in their pictures and videos um, all these light streaks or lights coming from uh, in outer space of these stars? The light itself, because it's supposed to be a physical object, even the Bible says that the stars are, and so is the moon and sun, that God put them, made them physical objects, put them in the sky. But how are we not seeing this light traveling through space? Light always overtakes darkness. So why are we not seeing these so-called stars traveling through space? And most of the pictures and videos, we never see stars anyway. And why is space so dark? If we got all these billions and trillions of stars with their light zipping through space to hit Earth, and there's still darkness in space, and then we can see, not counting the sun and the moon, it's there too. Um, why do we have all, we don't see any of the signs of how NASA says stars work? But then you're telling me that from Earth, we can see Mars from 50.6 million miles away from us. That little dot in the sky that they claim is Mars, or any of these other planets they say that's in the sky that we can see, that we could see that from 50.6. How bright is Mars? You know how bright Mars would have to be able to see it from 50.6 million miles away? Okay, so let's move on. Now, what I want you to do, and I should have said this at the beginning, is I want you, if you where you can do it, if you're not working or whatever, and you're at home, and or um and you're not busy, sit down with a pen and paper and write these numbers down. The, like, say Mars is 50.6 million miles away from Earth. Okay, and write these numbers down so that you can look at them and they tell me they make sense. Because I'm no mathematician, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Then you got the vanilla belt, the radiation belt, that they themselves have said that we cannot get through. Okay, that's why we haven't went back to the moon, because we can't get to these belts. Um, these belts, okay, they're telling the truth within the lie, are at the actual dome that's over the biblical flat Earth. But if we can't get through them now, how did we get through them in the 60s with the technology we had then? Then you got the moon call, the lunar call from the president on a landline, not even a cell phone, but a landline. How? How did we get that signal? And that's the point of this video today. The main point is, how did we get that signal from Earth through the Van Allen belt on a landline to the astronauts on the moon, and then their signal come back through all that space, back through the Van Allen belts, and back to the landline? That doesn't make any sense. And neither does this whole rover lunar, or lunar, because I was just talking about the moon. The whole rover helicopter things doesn't make any sense either. So if you just do a simple Google search, because I initially looked up the Wi-Fi, but I was like, I knew I would get, oh, well, they're doing it Bluetooth. So I looked them both up. So how far can you send a Bluetooth signal? It supported approximately 300 feet or 100 meters of communicable distance. However, the most potent Bluetooth radius can transmit more than 10 times the that distance outdoors. Well, clearly that would be outdoors. But then you also got to take into effect too is the radiation belts, the energy belts that NASA says that we have um, around their live ball Earth. Um, you're telling me you could send a signal through that, and nothing is interrupted. Nothing in the coding has been changed. You get what I'm saying? Like, how how does that make any sense? Like, I live in a my house is old and it's concrete. So if I don't have internet, my phone acts crazy. It runs slow, it lags, it videos buffer. It's just, and then, if they've got this kind of technology, they can do this, then I should never lose cell phone signal anywhere. But yet I lose it in the mountains or even in town, like in certain areas. Like if I'm going up Mount Vernon, or Oswell rather, I'm sure you're not familiar with the area. Well, you may be if you're from Bakersfield. If I go up, no, that's Oswell. If I go up Oswell, just before the Light Fashion Plaza, there's a little bubble right there. No matter what cell phone I have, no matter what cell phone carrier I have, that I lose signal. So, but with this, if they have this kind of technology to where it's going more than what they say the standard Bluetooth or wireless is, then I should never lose cell phone signal. Okay, I can't even get my bright house to work right half the dang time, and that's on Earth. So you're telling me I constantly have problems with my laptop. I constantly have problems with my Wi-Fi. I constantly have problems with my cell phone, but you can do these things. You can send this signal uh, to the rover on Mars, to the helicopter on Mars, and or whatever, and without any problems, any hiccups through the Van Allen belts. So if you do 10 times the amount of 300, you get 3,000 feet. Still nowhere near what they said over here of 50.6 million miles. Nowhere close to that. Okay. So then if you click go to the Wi Fi, okay, how far can you send a computer signal wireless? Okay. What is the maximum distance of a Wi-Fi signal can reach? Routers set to 2.4 gigahertz frequency that are correctly placed should offer you coverage of 150 feet indoors and 300 feet outdoors. This is the coverage for one level home without lots of obstruction. So without anything in the way, perfect environment, everything's great. You get the maximum of 300 feet um, outdoors. And when you're indoors, it limits that because it's got to go through the walls. Okay. So keep all this in mind. Well, not that it's got to go through the necessarily through, well, it's got to go through the walls if you're in another room, but you've got all the electrical um, stuff. You got your TV, you got video game consoles, you got uh, DVD players rather. You got the electrical for the lights and fans and different things that all interact with that, and it changes the signal or weakens the signal. Again, with the Van Allen belts, you're telling me that we send these signals, whether it be to the Mars rover, to the helicopter, or something else, or these uh, calls, uh, or these transmissions made back and forth, and you're telling me that they're not ever interrupted? How did we have the technology in the 60s to be able to talk to the man on the moon or the astronaut on the moon uh, without really any hiccups? I mean, think about that, guys. So you go over and you look at this is the rover, and its mission was sent mission name Mars 2020, rover name Perseverance, main job seek signs of ancient life and collect samples of rock and re- re- regolith broken rocks and soil for possible return for possible return to Earth. Launched July 30th, 2020, landing February 8th, 2021. Helicopter, the Mars helicopter, completed its 30-day technology demonstration and continues in operation demo phase. That's just funky. I've seen drones made better than this. Okay, then you got this drone, this helicopter, and that's another thing too. You tell me this helicopter, we were able to. Okay, if you're testing technology or testing anything, is you test it in that environment to the most that you can, to the best of your ability. So you're telling me that really never had been to Mars, okay? Don't know the atmosphere, don't know the so-called gravity, don't know uh, the temperature, we don't know the terrain, we don't know really any of these things, but yet we can make two, not just one, but two pieces of equipment to be able to successfully not only get there, but land on the surface and then not just communicate to each other, because that's what NASA says, is that this drone, this helicopter, communicates with the rover, and then the rover is what uh, sends the information back to NASA. And the NASA, the night before, and I'll show you that in a minute, they put in their what they want the rover to do or what they want the helicopter to do, and then overnight, through the Van belts, through space, without any issues or problems, gets to the rover, goes from the rover, if it's a command to the helicopter, to the helicopter. The helicopter does its thing, sends the signal back to the rover, from the rover back through space, back through the atmosphere of Mars, back through space, back through the Van belts to NASA for them to to tell us their information, quote unquote. How does that make any sense? So anyway, NASA's legendary, this helicopter highlights. NASA's legendary Mars helicopter has completed 66 flights since first taking to the skies above the red planet. On April 19, 2021, for exceeding its originally planned technology demonstrations up to 5 flights. The many highlights of, anyway, historic and successful advocates on Mars include, activities on Mars include the first aircraft to achieve powered control flight on another planet, and a feat that has been called a Wright brothers moment. So wait a minute, it's the first aircraft for controlled flight. What happened to the lunar module, or because that technically would be considered another planet. I know that they call it a satellite and they call it this and they call it that, but that would be technically another planet. I'm sorry. Um, or any of these other missions that they've done to these so-called other planets. Anyway, um, completing 118.8 flying minutes, covering 9.3 miles, and reaching altitudes as high as 78.7 feet. Successfully flying an extremely thin Martian atmosphere. Again, how did they know all this? How did they know how to make this very flimsy? Looks like it. Like I've said, seen drones made better, and that's the thing too. Back with the signal thing, I've flown drones. I've seen people fly drones. I've seen experts that are professionals at flying drones lose signal at a certain distance, and then the drone flies and hits the ground. I've seen people lose their drones in the ocean because they got too far away and their expensive drone lost signal to the control pad and they couldn't get it back and it fell in the ocean and sunk. Now I know you're going to say, well, they've got drones that, once it loses signal to the control pad, that it will automatically come back to the control pad and land. That's true. They do have some of those in most recent years, but those are super expensive, and not everybody has those. But and those also ain't 50.6 million miles away. Okay. So anyway, previewing areas of Mars, possible interest for the Perseverance rover to explore, and paving the way for future aerial explorers at Mars and potentially other space destinations. So you go over here and you look up about how does NASA control the Mars helicopter? The helicopter used anonymous controls during its flight, which are telerobotically planned and scripted by the operators at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or JPL, which that's not what JPL stands for, but for the sake of time, because I already played videos at the very beginning, took up a lot of the video, I'm not going to go into that. In communications with the Perseverance rover directly before and after each landing. So again, like I said, the uh, what the helicopter gets its commands from is the rover. Okay, and you'll see in a minute that what I was talking about earlier about how the rover gets its commands. So let's go over here. How does NASA control the Mars rover? First of all, there is no joystick for driving a Mars rover. Before the rover hits the road, engineers and computer commands overnight telling it where to go the next day, depending on how tricky the terrain is. Rover drivers have two options. Okay, and again, this is straight from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So again, I like I said at the beginning of the video, you got so-called NASA putting in commands to a computer to send it through space, into the sky, through the banana belts, through space, 50.6 million miles away, with no interruption, nothing coming in contact with it, and rewriting codes or changing something within that operating code. Okay, which anybody knows anything about computers knows that it doesn't take much for one thing to interact with another thing and change codes, or that's how you get computer viruses and so on. Okay, somebody has written a code that interacts with another code and messes with it. So just going through the Van Allen belts alone would most likely change something within that code. Okay, at the very least, change something in the code. Most likely wouldn't even get through the Van Allen belts. But then you got all that space that it travels, that so-called space, goes through another planet, its atmosphere, its Van Allen belt if it has one, goes to the rover, and then controls the rover perfectly and precisely. And if it's a mission for the helicopter, then that relays, not knowing the atmosphere, not knowing the conditions, they're able to figure it out and send these signals like that. And then it sends a signal to the helicopter. It does its thing, and then it sends the signal back to the rover, and then the rover has to go through that same process to send it back to Earth. Make that make sense. Because there's no way that makes any sense. Not one bit of sense does that make. And then look at it, guys. Look at that. Like, look how janky that looks. I mean, seriously, that I've seen drones look better than that. All this stuff is done on Earth. All of it. Every single bit, if it's not CGI and cartoons, and they're physically doing things like this. There's a lot of times where I've taken certain pictures and other people's done it too, and you do a Google image search, and it'll pop up. Usually, it's specific areas that it pops up in a desert somewhere that resembles exactly what NASA's saying is a Mars image. But look how janky that looks, guys. And you're telling me that that is flying on Mars? Come on. Okay. For the sake of time, you can go read this if you want. I'll put all the links in the description. Oh, that's a seed thing. Watch this, guys. This is how they said. This is how they say. This is an actual NASA video from their YouTube channel. This is how they want you to be brainwashed to believe that they made this rover and was able to calculate how it would operate on Mars. So what video camera is recording this? Like what video camera is recording the rover and the helicopter and so-called Mars surface? What camera is taking that video? You see how easily they can fake it? They're literally showing you a video of the exact terrain, the exact area they're using to fake NASA images and videos from Mars, showing you how the technology supposedly works. They're showing you the truth that's in the lies. And then you've got this is how they a a Mars like environment. So you're telling me that nobody's ever been on Mars, and as you saw that the helicopter and the rover got sent together, so they didn't have any technical data to be able to say, oh, this is the Mars atmosphere, this is what it's like. So we'll build a chamber to simulate that so that we can uh you know test things like that. You cannot tell me that that camera is off the helicopter or that camera is on the rover, and that's how we're getting these videos of the rover and the helicopter on the Mars surface. You can't tell me that because all throughout that whole video, you can see that the camera was clearly detached from the so-called rover and that Mars helicopter. That's I don't know how you could argue with me on that and actually make sense. Any of this, how you can argue with me and actually make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Uh, Again, I appreciate everybody that stays around my channel and watches my channel and my videos and shares them and all that, and that subscribed and that continuously comes back and seeing if I got new videos up or checking to see if they're still subscribed because YouTube taking my stuff down and subscribing people and all that and not notifying people on my videos. So anyway, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. It really does. Uh, but again, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Use all the links in the About Me section. Rate, comment, subscribe. Much love. God bless. And I will see you on the next one.